Yeah, Rystad Energy and the Afrexim Bank is supporting the January 26th summit of the African Energy Chamber in London. That summit is looking to dialogue with European investors on investments into Africa's oil and gas industry. The summit is the curtain raiser in the new year for the Frontline Africa Advocacy Organization, the African Energy Chamber based in South Africa. Joining me now is Ayuk, the Executive Chairman of the African Energy Chamber, for our first conversation in the new year. Thanks for making the time to connect on the show tonight. You've been a very busy part of last year, so we were chasing you all over the place. We couldn't grab you. Here you are in the new year, my friend. Oh, great. Okay, so let me just ask you, how much of the urgent Africa's energy sector issues were you able to push through last year through the African Energy Chamber?
What we've seen in 2022 was amazing. We saw for the first time African companies being given priority because of the Africa Continental Fair Trade Act. But we also saw strong results coming out of our work with working with governments, working with the industry. We saw fiscal terms being revised for a lot of companies that were coming out of COVID so that they could start producing again, because we have seen a natural decline across Africa. We saw deals being signed across Mozambique, Angola, Nigeria, Senegal. So we've seen a lot of progress, and thank God we have the African Energy Chamber to stand up and defend this industry like a junkyard dog in the face of a hurricane. So there has been progress. Am I happy? No. I want more. We want to see a lot more coming out of in 2023. We want to see more jobs being created. We want to increase production. We want to see our biggest issue of the day, making African energy poverty history. 600 million without access to electricity, 900 million without access to clean cooking technologies. We got to go on a super drive. We got to supercharge to make this happen. And this is how we're going to start 2023.
One of the biggest issues in 2022 to 2023 has to do with investments into Africa's hydrocarbon industry. How much advocacy are you still pushing forward to see this happen with the Europeans and some of the banks are closing their doors on Africa's investments, Africa's projects in that space?
That should be the most critical issue that we have to focus on. They have choked out the Africa oil and gas industry. They say gas is green for Europe, but gas is not green for Africa. They are cutting down financing. HSBC just announced financing, but we have to ask that critical question. And this is really where we thank Afrexim and the African Petroleum Producers Organization, led by my good friend and brother, Dr. Omar Farouk, and them coming together, putting an African Energy Bank. This is going to be so brilliant. But I need more banks. I need 50 African Energy banks because we have so much problems we have to deal with. Choking up financing is not a way to build our energy future and drive up exploration, drive up production, and fix issues around marginal fields and really deal with jobs of young people. Here is it, but we have to ask those tough questions ourselves. We have to create that enabling environment for financing and funding to come in to really drive up these projects. But also we have to ask the Africans, we have to ask ourselves that question. Why are we putting our hedge fund? Why are we putting our pension funds and most of African funds from African governments being put in Western institutions that turn around and not finance African energy growth? So we have to probably start thinking about, if you boycott Africa, we'll boycott you, and we'll boycott you with our money. We got to be really firm and really drive this home, because we cannot be funding those that don't fund us.
I got the line you push in, Ayuk, as far as Africa's sovereign wealth funds. For example, we've got billions and billions of dollars of sovereign wealth funds in Africa that looks to invest in equities and other investment outside the continent. So, but again, you're heading to London on January 26th with Afrexim Bank and a few others to speak to our European friends. What would be the main key point of this particular curtain raiser for you, for the AEC in the new year, about investment that we sorely need and developments in infrastructure on the Africa's oil and gas industry?
Give me solar, give me wind, give me hydrogen, give me oil, give me gas, and I will give you rest. That is going to be the message we're going to take to Europe. We have to really engage with our European partners to really find ways that we can bridge this divide on investments. We having delegations coming out of Namibia, out of Nigeria, out of Sierra Leone, Liberia, Ghana, South Africa, engaging with more than 250 companies in the UK. What the African Energy Chamber wants to do, we want some real matchmaking, but also we want to really see Africans working with their European partners to do deals and get deals signed so that we can drive up with our future. We don't have to wait until Africa Energy Week to sign deals. We want to start signing deals this week, next week, every day, all the time, so we can really get things going, because our people cannot wait until October to get deals signed. We got to drive things up. And that's what we're going to be engaging with our brothers and sisters in the United Kingdom. And I'm hoping for a very, very good reception in the United Kingdom.
In terms of who you're working with at the African Energy Chamber to push this advocacy forward, how much support are you getting from governments across the African continent? You talk about the APPO earlier, Dr. Farouk. Yes, you've got Farouk, you've got the Afreximbank. But again, in terms of the governments on the African continent and the national oil corporations, whether it's that of the NOC of Libya or the NNPC of Nigeria, Ministry of Petroleum Resources, all the way to Senegal and beyond, Equatorial Guinea and down to Namibia, how much support are you getting for advocating a just energy transition for the African continent on the sovereign side?
We're getting a lot of support. I think it started with an education, it started with a conversation. And right now, I think we have to be very, very clear. Africa is in sync. I have talked to almost 15 African presidents since the new year. They have been so gracious. They called me. I just came from Senegal, where I met with the leadership of the country. They are fully in sync on a just energy transition. And those who thought that we are going to back down from this, they are making a big mistake. There is a silent majority around Africa that has pushed governments to tell them we're not going to be leaving our resources in the ground. So African NOCs, African ministries, and we just need to get those African ministries of environment, because they are very critical, because the energy people are saying one thing, the ministries of environment, they get per diem, they get their extra cure from NGOs, they go there, they start saying something else. So we got to still keep that work to get African voices. But I think from the heads of states level, we are on WhatsApp and we're talking, and soon we're going to be tweeting all the same message.
Okay, so let's talk about the Energy Week, African Energy Week later this year in Cape Town. What's the 2023 edition going to look like? For last year, you got almost everyone in the room, more like a United Nations with OPEC from the Saudi Arabia. It was who is who. So who is who for 2023, my friend?
We are going, I think I'm already excited about African Energy Week, because we got so many people who saw the success of last year and they want to take it to the next stage. So we're looking at having about 5,000 to 10,000 people in the city of Cape Town. We're going to do what I call a Davos-style conference across the waterfront. We're going to have people all over the waterfront holding hands, doing deals, and really driving African conversations. But besides that, it's going to be focused on deal signing. It's going to be focused on driving sustainability, but also dealing with energy poverty, creating growth and jobs, and putting women at the forefront. So we were excited. We started a little slow because some people told us we need to work with the group that ran to Dubai. But I think, as you probably have seen, we are not going to be doing that. We wanted a conversation. They opted for a confrontation, and I'm going to make sure I teach them some manners in 2023 by doing an amazing conference in Cape Town.
All right, thank you so much. Ayuk, Executive Chairman at the African Energy Chamber. Wish you all the best in the new year and at your London event on the 26th. Thank you very much.